This conference will now be recorded.
Delayed.
All right, call meeting to order. Ian, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The minutes from the February 5th, 2026 meeting. Any additions or corrections?
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay.
I need to abstain. I wasn't here.
Oh, yeah, but you probably could have read them.
I did read them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I think-
fine. You don't have to abstain.
Okay.
Yeah. The agenda, any changes or additions to that?
Nope, no changes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And any conflicts of interest?
None here.
No. Okay, so we'll move into the informational meeting for change of zoning 291-26.
All right, so this one is, today is just an informational. This is kind of coming about, if you remember, it's been a few months ago now. We had originally come in and there was some discussion on how we were going to handle the commercial units that are going up at Powderhouse Pass. It was approved in their original overall plan back from 2005 that there would be some commercial units, but we just hadn't seen much for build out at this point. Now we're starting to see some of that, and there was not a lot of detail in their original plan as how we were going to keep track of the amount of sewer usage going into the system. And so this is kind of a update to that original master plan that will give us an actual, well, just basically a formula to be able to kind of keep track of how much is going in. No different than when houses are built, the state would go in and say, well, you can have so much based on how many bedrooms you have. They had a formula. Commercial units aren't quite the same way. And so that's what we were trying to come up with as a plan for that. And in order to do that, I requested that it be put in writing, go through the approval process for an amendment to their summary that goes through as their amendment to their master plan. So they did give you kind of a quick written summary that was provided in the packet. And then this is the document that would be amended. So every time they've made a change since 2005, we have them update this document and then you would reapprove the new document. So then going forward, it has that new information in there. So that's kind of what this is. Nothing is really changing within the original plan except for trying to give us a formula to be able to use for commercial development, because now that's where we're at. We're starting to see some of that. Is there anything else that you guys want to add that they're here as well? But I think that was the only thing. We did talk about changing one other part. Did that get updated? You guys had asked about
For the clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in the updated written summary, but
Okay.
not part of the master plan.
Okay.
Update. So
So
just looking for.
We're right here. So also as part of that, because I didn't want to do two separate things, it's just easier if we just do one public hearing process. There was some discussion in the original PUD district, the zoning district. It used to state that common space, common open space was a minimum 25% of the total site acreage, including in the application, shall be preserved as common recreation and meaningful open space. And that was just general knowledge, but in 2004, we updated the PUD zoning district to not require that. Now they can, it's this language. So they are requesting, since the old language was in the original document, could they update it to the new language? So that's the other part of this. So the first part is and it makes sense if we changed it in our ordinance. I don't know why they should have to follow the rule because the ordinance has changed. So it just makes sense to update it to the existing ordinance. Because it's been, I mean, 2005 to now, there's a lot of changes that have been made.
I think it's good to just keep this written summary of the changes and amendments.
Yep. So that's really what we are. So what we've done in the past with these, it's not changing the boundary of the PUD. So they don't have to do a full where they have to send notification out because it's not changing the actual PUD, it's just the language in here. So we do require a public hearing just to have it. They don't have to send out notification individually. The CID is aware of it because that's who controls this. The CID has to be aware of it, and they are. And then we are going to have them post a sign just so if somebody out there had a question, they can call us and we can share this information with them. And we've done this, I think this is the 3rd amendment, and we've followed the same procedure every amendment, so they're aware of it. So the only difference is, I get this question, so you guys might, why do we call it a change of zoning? Well, it's because we're showing the original change of zoning 291 and then -26. That just helps us know that it was an amendment to something within that original plan.
CID and master.
Yeah, because it was the CID master plan. So it's just more of a, it's not a new change of zoning, it's just changing a plan.
I wonder if them, CID as a government entity, do they have to post a change and notify people within their CID? No, not within the county, within their CID. I just kind of wonder.
probably up to
I'm not
them.
sure.
Yeah,
I
I'm
guess
sure
on the
that,
CID side.
I'm sure there's regulations for that. And, interesting.
Mhm.
It's a good deal to keep it alive. Living document throughout.
So that's kind of what this is about. If you have any questions, like I said, John's here and the engineer's here, Trent's the one that wrote this document, so he's here too. He'll be here at all the public hearings. If questions come up, afterwards, you can sure look at them. I think this was kind of a joint effort is because as staff, we didn't know how to deal with the commercial units. So I think this is a good way to kind of have some teeth in it of what we're going to do moving forward. So that's all I have. Unless you guys have any other questions.
Okay, does anybody need to do an onsite? Okay, that's what we're gonna do for that one.
Set up
Yeah, it's just
a-
an informational. So you're going to set a public hearing for April 2nd at 1:30.
All right, informational meeting for CUP 500 for Front Gate Holdings.
Okay, and this one is for a tower. This is gonna be, if you remember where, so Jeff and Polly Garrett did a change of zoning request right off of 85 and Camp Comfort Road, where they put the storage units in. This is gonna be kind of on the backside of that lot. So it meets the requirements, but they are required to do a conditional use permit for any sort of tower. They've provided all of the information that we asked for. This is their conditional use permit packet. It kind of shows, you can see here's the units. Here's the highway. You're coming in here. It's going to sit right in here. This is, I don't go through all of this, but it's all the fun mapping and things that they provide. You guys have this packet provided to you as part of it, but here's kind of the gist of it. Vertical Bridge is the name of the company. We have a lot of different tower. So the Towers LLC is one that we've seen stuff for in the past, but they all have different names within names. That's pretty normal. This one here, the building permit for this will end up going through the city of Spearfish, but before they can get the building permit, they have to come here for the conditional use permit. So that's the process.
So is this not in the city limits?
Nope, it's in the county.
So city limits must be on the other side of the road?
It's on the other side of the highway, yes.
But it doesn't go that far.
Mhm.
Stops at the church and Buckle's old place.
I think I have a zoning.
This is past that though. This is
No,
south.
This is north of that.
City limits is on the other side of the
it'd be south.
road
Oh, yeah, it's south.
for quite a ways.
Yeah,
but
because this is
one-
south of Camp Comfort.
It is.
Yeah.
yeah.
But on the east side, the city limits goes a lot further north. Right?
Yeah, I'm wrong. Feel like I'm home, I said I'm wrong.
But city limits is not on this side of the highway.
Okay.
It's just on the other side of the highway. So
Seems like a pretty decent spot to put a tower.
It kinda
with
goes with
storage
the storage
big
unit
giant tower
use,
line,
so,
transmission line,
yep.
subdivision.
Similar to what 17 did.
So once this goes through our process, then I would give a copy of the staff report by the time we're done with it to the city of Spearfish. So you guys would have opportunity to put any conditions, if you want to see something. I always ask, a monopole tower is better than having a tree. Please don't put a tree in. We have one
I thought it went
in
away.
Nemo.
I just drove down Nemo and couldn't find it.
Well,
One's
it's,
in.
no, it's there. It's
No, it
not
doesn't.
Nemo. It's not on Nemo Road. It's on
It's in there.
Meredestis Road. Meredestis. And I promise you can see it. It does not blend in with the trees.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah.
So, and Ryan is here if you have any questions for him at all on anything, but it's, I mean, anything new that you want to add, Ryan? Does that give you, if you want to add anything, go for it.
Again, thank you, staff and commissioners. Ryan Struff here on behalf of Fuel Consulting and the Towers LLC, which is also known as Vertical Bridge. I don't really have anything to add, just it is a pretty basic tower addition to cover a gap in service, to add some additional quality of service and enhancing E911 services. So with that, if you have any questions, I can assist with those.
You guys just need to set the public hearing, and Ryan, we did mail your packet. I don't know if you've gotten it yet, but it got mailed out and the sign has been posted.
Perfect. And I provided the signed documents back.
Did you get your packet?
I'm thinking is the packet just was the manila envelope, right? With those documents, with just those 2 documents in it.
And you have to send out notifications. So
Oh,
there should have been a sheet in there, a letter of notification, as well as a spreadsheet.
Yeah, and I had some conversations with staff about that. And
Perfect.
I have those prepared and they'll go out before the 26th.
Perfect. Yep. So that's it. Just schedule the public hearing for April 2nd then.
Okay, anybody have any other questions, concerns? I don't think so. All right, we will move to the preliminary
Thanks, Ryan.
final plat
Thank you.
for
So you,
Justin Johns.
yeah, you guys did have a copy of the weed report. We try to give that to you every time. And again, weed department's done really good with getting those to us on a timely manner. So that's been good. This one is a preliminary and a final plat for Justin Johns and Joetta Dickert Brackett. Tracks AR and B2R. It's a lot line revision. It would be exempt from the fire plan because it is just a lot line revision. This is out off of Galena. If you remember when Joetta originally broke these tracks up, this was Burt Rao, kind of in that area by Burt Rao and stuff. So they're just changing the lot line between the 2 parcels. So it's just a lot line revision. No new lots.
Motion that it's accepted.
Second. Discussion, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. You understand what that meant, Kristen, for the fire plant? Just because we're moving the line. Okay.
Can you show me again where the lot line, like I missed that spot?
Here's the existing plat. See if I can zoom.
If you ever have any questions, don't be shy.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry, I won't be. I've got lots to learn.
There's a lot of
Here's-
things that we just kind of take for granted.
Yeah.
The former lot line was right in here. You can see that. It's right along here. No, I'm sorry, right along here.
Is it marked or?
Yeah, you can see it right here.
It's
See where it
just
says
former lot line and
right
it
here.
looks like it's got an
It's got a
arrow.
line going.
See
arrow
this,
going
it's hard to
green.
tell, but see this
It's up in
little,
that circle, huh? Okay.
it's, yeah, the circle is showing. So see this little black line right
Okay,
here?
yep.
That's a giant creature.
And I don't know, that's Bruce.
And an arrow will be easier to see.
Well,
Bruce, just fix it, Bruce.
Note to self,
no, I was told I'm not allowed to touch anything on this computer.
I did design the cursor.
No, you didn't. This was all Greg. He doesn't like arrows. So anyways, it's this right here, that little, this little tiny piece.
Yeah, what is that anyway?
That's it.
And so it's putting that little jag in it? Is that what it's doing?
There wasn't enough angles in this particular
Uh-huh.
property.
It was somebody
I'm
sold us
gonna
an extra
bet-
corner.
Somebody wants to add a
Oh,
garage.
I'm gonna bet it's a setback
Yeah.
thing is what I would assume. Oh,
Probably.
there. Yes, dear.
The Dickerts have been, the Johns's lot went all the way across the
Over.
front of Dickerts' driveway and right by their front door. Dickerts have been parking on the Johns's property and then they have a dumpster further to the west. So that change in lot line is gonna get the parking and the dumpster on Dickerts' property.
Perfect.
And the Johns has just got the same amount of property exchanged to them on on the north of
So
it.
they're parking in the same spot, it'll just be on their property now.
What a great thing.
It's just cleaning up a thing that's been 20 years on the.
This little triangle to this little triangle-ish.
There's a, the
Tree.
inset to the left has a, that's blown out. You slide your picture over. If you can.
Oh, there we go. Right there. You can see.
Okay.
So there, it just cleans it up.
Any other concerns about anything?
We'll move to approve.
Move to approve a preliminary and a final?
Yes.
Second. Discussion?
Pick one.
Fuller.
Okay.
He was louder.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, preliminary and final plat for Marianne Eddy and Aaron Adkins. And this one we also have to decide on the exemption for fire plant.
Rob, do you want to explain this one too, since you're here?
Okay.
And zoom in, that's probably about.
That's a better screen over there.
Okay. Second that.
There's four of us on this second.
So the
We're younger, we can turn our
I guess.
Anaconda number 6, which is in the northern portion up here. They're splitting that load in half. Half of it's going to each of 2 siblings. And then we're platting out the road right away as a dedicated to the public.
What was it before?
Just a road
Brownsville, we've had,
easement.
as things have been platting, John had basically said, you know, it'd be a good idea if we could start getting it actually platted, because pretty much it's always gonna be a public right of way, the county maintains it. But on a lot of these, the mineral survey load cut it in half, so it's never platted. So anytime we're seeing plats done out here, we've had a few now that we've
Yeah,
done.
from here to the west, almost to Pacoma, that road's been platted.
Yeah. It just cleans it up so the right of way actually shows.
So has the landowner been paying taxes on the road?
Yeah, that's what it always used to be.
Yep.
Motion is exempt.
Okay.
We need more citizens like that willing to make those contributions.
This will take it off the tax roll.
Sounds like a chairman to me.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion to make it exempt. Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Sorry, well, I had to turn around, so it wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
Dizzy there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, now the preliminary and the final plats.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
That was preliminary final.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, items from planning and zoning board members.
I do have an issue for
All right.
item to think about or move on, whatever, I don't know, but our public comment. I've been watching city go through all kinds of garbage with theirs, and they've got people that want to be able to have input on every item on the agenda, which I would be totally against, because you'd never get out of the meeting, but you gotta think it, maybe put our comment at the front of the meeting. And then if somebody's got an issue or an item on that they want to have input with, but it's not a public hearing, they could make their comments, and then we can have that in mind when we deal with everything they're doing. Plus, on public comment at the end of a meeting, quite often we get people that are upset about something we did that meeting, and that what they say doesn't accomplish anything for them or us. Yeah,
Makes a lot of sense.
calling us
Yeah,
names and
because
things like
then there-
that.
Opportunities after we've already done it.
Yeah, get the input from them, and I don't think it takes any motion or anything, it's just a matter of the chairman wanting to change it, but I just, that's, the city's gone to that. Yeah, it makes sense.
Does anybody have any objections to that at all?
Well, I think that's good. At least we know what they were in the room.
Yeah, I don't know that it's a problem here. But I know some of the county commissions that have done that, and it just completely has derailed their meeting.
Really? How's that?
Well, they just get people that come there that are mad. They're still mad. but they don't understand the issue because they haven't heard the discussion on it. And then they'll go on for extended periods of time.
Well, you give them their 3 minutes.
You've got to
You're
be
still
very strict
limited.
on that. But there's a lot of people sometimes that show up.
But, you know, time we get comments, say gravel pits, or
We're gonna hit that.
we're gonna have mines coming
contentious
up, we're gonna have that.
Issue anyway.
And, you know, even the public hearing, pretty soon they all sound the same. They're all trying to get a little stronger than the one before them. And quite often get nastier, 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 instead of just presenting information. And then we decide something, and then they really get upset and get hammered. So I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes they just need to hear the information, and that would clear up a lot of the concern.
Well,
We very seldom have any public comment here.
no, but
Once
we
in a while.
will. We're gonna have it.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't had a major issue here lately, but, you know, like I say, you know, we've got 2 mines anyway, don't we?
I think it's just good, what I've heard, because I mean, a lot of people have had discussion at the planning level, because, you know, we talk all the time, is as long as you don't utilize it as a public hearing. So there's no back and forth between,
No.
you know, the board and them. They don't get to ask questions to an applicant that's sitting in the room. So you have to, the chairman just has to be very deliberate of, you can say what you want to say, but we're not going to have conversation.
Right.
Because you have to, and then I think what I've heard most of them do is they'll put like we could add some verbiage or something that they've said, if you are here for an item that is listed specifically, like for a public hearing, that's the time that you should talk about that specific item. So if it's an item on the agenda, they shouldn't be talking about it during a public comment. Does that make sense?
That doesn't have a public hearing.
Correct. Yeah, like if it's just, they just want to talk.
Public
that's
hearing is for
fine.
non-agenda items. Is what you're saying.
Correct. So that's the only thing I've seen, is that they've added some verbiage regarding that, so people know, well, I can't make it, I can't sit here all day, so I just want to voice my opinion, and that's going to be attached to a public hearing that's an hour away. No, that's not, we're not
They
going
have
to
to wait
take
for that,
minutes for that. We're only, so that would be my only request, is if we do that, we might want to add some.
Nothing we have to decide today. I'm just throwing out the idea.
Would we be better off just doing it on a case by case thing, you know, right before saying, hey, if anybody has anything to say?
I think it's better to have it on an agenda, because then everybody knows.
The week before, I'll say if we want to do it at the beginning or the end.
No, I don't want to do that.
Since people look at the agenda ahead of time and they plan when they come,
Yeah.
you kind of can't switch it. It's got to be, they have to think they can come at either.
I think it should be
Yeah, it's just
consistent.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's at the beginning or the end. I just want to make sure that we all understand that if you have it at the beginning, that's the problem I've seen, is all of a sudden
But-
people don't want to hang out, and so they say what they want to say at the
Yep.
beginning for something on the item, on the agenda.
Well, and that's
I'm
fine too.
just throwing it out.
I like the,
I'm not gonna run away and pout, so whatever we do, I
Yeah.
don't care. But
I don't think Bruce cares. I don't know.
I was just looking at our current language.
I like the idea of it at the beginning, I guess.
It doesn't have, it refers to county issues or policies. Doesn't refer to non-agenda matters, right? But I think, you know, that's a smart thing, is we don't start having an extended public hearing on the installment plan, right? But, you know, we could just make that announcement too, if you wanted to do it that way. This is the time for, you know, non-agenda items or non-public hearing items. Otherwise, confine your comments to that time and place.
I've always been uncomfortable with the public comments. It doesn't matter when they are, because we can't interact. We can just sit there and listen. They make their statements and they're hoping to get response. But if we give them any kind of response, we're taking action. It can be inferred that we're taking action on. So that's why we just sit here and
Just listen, yeah.
just listen. And that frustrates the public. We have to be a little clearer on telling them,
Maybe I
we
should.
can't interact with you on this deal because it's not on the agenda. But
I can
they'll
just say
look
that.
at you like, you guys are a bunch of jerks. You won't even talk to me. Well, they don't know the law, you know, so.
Well, I could be pretty clear about that when I ask for public comment. Just say, this is a time for public comment. We cannot interact with you, and this is just for you to give us information and your thoughts and opinions.
Because it's not on the agenda.
So it's not an
Legally, it's
agenda
not
item.
agenda.
If we decide that it needs to be an agenda item, then we'll make it an agenda item, but for
That's
now,
fine.
we're just listening.
Can I get some clarification on the definition here? So you're talking public comment, and you're talking public hearing.
Mhm.
I think some of the frustration during the public hearing is that we can't have give and take. But I don't think there's any mechanism at the county for that, is there?
And at any public meeting.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, and I think that's what, I can see that getting bogged down, but that's what frustrates people, and that's why I think each time they come back, I'm speaking from experience, each time you come back, you're kind of a little bit louder, because you feel that you don't know if people are actually absorbing it and rolling it around and going, yeah, but I know more about than you do on this subject and therefore making my decision, or if it's just, yeah, you just go ahead and talk. We're doing what we have to do, which is to let you talk, but we're not even listening. So I think that's, so if there's some mechanism, and I'm throwing that out, I know that's not what we're discussing now, but I don't know if there's ever a time and place, or if that's when an individual should make an appointment with one of you and say, here's.
Well, that'd be refreshing.
Yeah.
People actually come talk to you.
And
That'd be something.
Yeah,
actually,
that'd be great.
you folks have set hours, because when I was in Kootenai County, Idaho, the commissioners are full-time. And so we would know, it would be easy to get access, and you guys are all busy doing other things, so I don't know what the mechanism is for that.
I think we're all willing to make time.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I've very seldom get contacted.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure you don't.
All the turmoil we had on that out there, 2 people talked to me about it.
I didn't get any phone calls.
These were people in my office. Inquisitive
Bruce, do you want to
and wanted
have
to
a
know, I
reminder?
mean, geez, if you're really interested, come talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
And
true.
I think we do, for the most part, listen pretty well. I know there's been a lot of times when I've gone through the agenda, looked at all the stuff, and kind of had my mind made up on what I thought about something, and then you come to the public hearing and you hear something that somebody says, and it can change your mind. And I think
Oh,
that happens
absolutely.
really
Well, I know we're,
You'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you'll
and it's, you always have to
I'm seeing
keep
it from the other side.
in mind, I think
Yeah.
that's what Bruce is probably gonna read. Yeah.
So this comes from the South Dakota Planners Association, and it's about conflicts of interest and ex parte communications in quasi judicial proceedings. So ex parte means outside of, like, the proceeding, right? And quasi judicial would be anything where you're acting as a judge, a CUP, change of zoning, that kind of a thing, right? So an ex parte communication is a communication between the decision maker and an interested party outside of the official channels of the proceeding. Examples include mail, phone conversations, etc. What should be done if there's an ex parte communication? You should disclose it. The communications should be disclosed prior to the start of any hearing. The disclosure should be made in the presence of the board and the public, and if possible, the content of the communication should be made part of the record. Does that require recusal? Well, if the communication is invited, then recusal should occur. So if you want them to come talk to you, I guess, it says should occur. Invited communication is generally communication that is initiated by the board member. If the communication is uninvited, then recusal should only occur if the board member feels that the content of the communication will not allow them to be fair and impartial regarding the matter to be decided.
I'm on city planning and zoning, and they flat tell you, do not talk to the citizens outside of any item we got coming up. I flat tell them, I'm gonna listen to any citizen when it comes to talk to me. Will I commit to them? Will I make a decision at that? No, I'm gonna listen to them.
Yep.
I think we owe it to be able to listen to
I
them,
agree with that.
but I'm going to listen a lot.
Well, as long as you disclose it, right?
Yeah, we've talked.
Yeah, just say we had a discussion ahead of time, and then it's also important too, when we're here, we have to take off our personal hats and put on our county hat and follow the ordinances. And
Otherwise, you're not gonna last very long on this
Yeah.
board.
If I may, sure. So that is a really important point. It's quasi judicial. So you're acting as a judge, not as a legislator. And so when you're acting as a judge, you may end up voting for something that you don't like. So for example, judges sometimes find people guilty or not guilty. They may not want to do it, but it's their duty. So you have to apply the law to the facts and come to a result. You can't vote against something because I don't like it just because, if that makes sense, right? And it's a good reminder for all of us, because the legislators, they're just legislating. they can get lobbied, they get food and drinks, they caucus, they whip each other, not figuratively, but
Another couple more.
yeah, right. Figuratively, not literally. And but you guys are acting most of the time as judges, and we act as legislators and as judges. And so it's a good reminder, though, when you're doing a CP, a variance, change of zoning, all those things, you're putting that cap on.
We've had people in here that are competitors. I can't stand them,
But you can't.
but they went by the ordinance, so you got to prove it. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I've had to vote for a lot of things I didn't like
Yeah.
that were,
Yeah.
that have to be approved, and the other way too.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I know there is frustration. I was listening to one of the bills, I think it was Ismay's bill from up in Butte County, in which they're trying to make it, I don't know if it's easier or different to basically get rid of county commissioners, right? And what this part of the testimony that I heard was people are going to their county commission, for example, and they're not getting input from them. And so they're assuming that they're being ignored and there's no back and forth, and it frustrates them. But it's not really a back and forth situation, right? I mean, if you go to a hearing, there's questions back and from the legislators to the people who are testifying, right?
But designated time.
Yeah, but there is no, I've never seen a public meeting where there's this back and
Right.
forth kind of thing. I don't know how that would probably degenerate down to some kind of a yelling match oftentimes, right? Or how would you referee that? So I don't know how to
Well-
solve that problem.
It'd be like having a public hearing on every agenda item, pretty much.
Yeah.
If it's a contentious thing. 90% of the time it'd be just like this.
And I didn't mean to imply that it was different where I was. It was the same way here, except it was very easy to get an appointment with commissioners there and planning and
Oh,
zoning. So
here too.
it may be here too, that maybe we're all just getting a bad rap in terms of people thinking that and not, and not even trying to
I mean, our
reach out.
email addresses and phone numbers are on the website.
Pretty public, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all public.
Actually
Okay.
advertised.
The biggest thing, that's why we always have
Do mine too.
the declare conflicts of interest. If you think you have one, that's when you need to declare it. Or we've had people like at the beginning of the meeting, when they're going into public hearing, they'll say, well, I had a conversation with so-and-so that's in the audience today and whatever, like, so you can always say that before the public hearing starts.
Should.
You should. I mean, if somebody does call you.
Just disclosure.
Yeah.
Everything's
Okay.
disclosure.
Any other
Thank you.
items, board members?
Not a board member, but an issue. Amber and I were dealing with them. We had an occasion recently to look at the rules governing political signs. And several years ago, you modified your ordinance. It was as a result of a court case. So I don't know if the baby got thrown out with the bathwater, but the provisions regulating political signs changed. And so about the only regulation that exists now is that, so political signs are exemptions to the normal rules. You have to have them taken down within like 5 days after the election or something like that. So before that, the rules were, I think it was limited to a 4x8 sign. It had to be independently hung. So it couldn't be like on a trailer or on a wall or something else. It had to be self-supporting, right? But those rules are all gone. And so if you look at state law has very similar rules like I think we used to have governing in municipalities, but not applicable to the county. So at present, your sign regulations for political campaigns are basically wide open. It can't be in a right of way. It can't also be advertising a business or something like that. But you can have those signs now. There's no limitation, from what I can see. I don't mean that makes sense. So we may want to look at sooner than later tightening that up.
And we would have to look further into it because if I remember right, I don't know if we legally can. We
Well,
need to-
So we would probably mirror ours after what state
With
law
what state
says.
law says,
And so
yeah.
state law has a limitation of, I think, 4x8 square feet, 32 square feet, whatever that is.
The municipal. law.
As a
Yes.
max, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we would, I think, probably adopt what state law has for signs in municipalities. It would seem to be a pretty good fit for what we have.
We can only put them up 7 days before the election too. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice if they police that, take them down thing. in 5
That's
days.
been the issue. There's been a lot of them in right of ways, but it doesn't get enforced.
So anyway,
But who's got the money to enforce it?
Well,
I
and
will
the
say
state's
it
attorney
gets-
isn't gonna waste their time on the sign.
I can tell you with, we find them, we will usually call the person and say it needs to be removed, or Jeff has gone and pulled it out and put it in the back of his truck, and then we call him and say, you can come pick it up, it's up here. So if we see them, we have them. Now, if they're more of a permanent, obviously we can't do it, but if it's like the little ones, Jeff pulls them all the time. We've thrown so many signs away because we call them and say, they're here, you can come get them, but they never show up, so they go in the garbage.
If you lose, you don't want to be reminded of it.
Yeah.
I think we've been hesitant to do a whole lot of ordinance changes now because we have to publish them and it costs money, right? We're kind of waiting for the Supreme Court case to resolve itself so we know, what we have to do there. But it might be worth it for us to start working on bringing you an amended ordinance, signed ordinance, and I would propose that state language governing municipalities as a starting point. So you have that in place because it'll take a while for that
Yeah,
process to
I've
play out.
No,
I think 4 text changes that we need to do that we've just, we always find things that we're like, oh, that shouldn't say that. So we've got some but I've just been holding off because we have not fixed the online ordinance since the court case started because we've been waiting. So I don't want to spend $2,000 to fix it if it's going to get changed.
and
So we're kind
orals
of
on the
waiting on that.
16th, is that right?
I think
I've got it in my calendar here.
it's in Brookings, isn't
Sioux
it?
Falls, Augustana College.
Augustana.
I've got it right here. I'm just looking at it earlier.
It's because it's when I'm gone. I think the 14th,
Where was that?
15th, 16th, it might be the 16th or the 18th.
Yeah, it's the 19th, Thursday the 19th.
Okay.
That's
Ten-
close.
It's one of those
Somewhere
days
there.
in June.
Yeah,
I knew it, no, it's.
doesn't make a difference.
It's
It'll be
March.
another
March.
2 months before we're here, but
Yeah.
It's next week, right?
2 weeks.
So basically, as soon as we know that, we would have all those changes to bring forward, but if I know there's some other ones, I'd rather hold off on that because it costs us the same amount of money, whether it's 1 change or 10 changes. So if that's okay, we can start working on some of those other ones, get it in front of you guys, start the process, and then we'll just hold them till the end to
This
get it
proud-
updated.
this outfit ought to be proud of itself. This Spearfish hasn't touched theirs since '85.
I know.
And so
I'm still
we're- and
thinking
we're
about
actually
that
gonna
one.
do it. We're actually gonna do it in-house.
Well, you guys are gonna have long meetings.
Well, we've done this one in-house.
Done it for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can start, because I have about 4, they're just simple text changes, nothing too crazy, but we just need to update them. Are you guys comfortable with us tackling one document that has multiple changes? So like I've done before, I'll put, it's this chapter, this section, this chapter, this section, and we'll have one that has all these little changes together.
Sounds good.
Yeah. that's no problem.
Okay, anything
We can
else
do that,
from anybody?
okay.
All right, at this time, I would like it to open it up for public comment in a situation where you will be just giving us information and we'll have no interaction for non-agenda items. Does anyone have anything to say?
That's a
Nobody
good
online.
trial run there.
Yeah.
You did okay.
Set next meeting for April 2nd, 2026 at 1:30 PM. Good. Okay.
It's always good until about 2 days before.
Didn't write on anything, by
Meeting
the way,
adjourned.
boss.
Good job, good job.
Wow. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, those get.